What's up, gamers and geeks? Matt here with That's Fair Podcasting and Gaming Geeks Live. And in this video, I'm going to give you my top 10 favorite all-time Star Wars Jedi / Sith characters, be it through games and movies or whatever, canon and fodder alike. Just giving you my top 10 as far as favorite Jedi and Sith, so stay tuned. There's so much in the Star Wars galaxy, from games to comic books to novels to obviously movies. You know, you've had tabletop D20s, the video games, everything in Star Wars, and there are so many characters that I've grown to love. I've read so many books. I believe it was the Shadowhunter Darth Maul novel. I read Shatterpoint by Mace Windu novel. I read the new Jedi Order with the Yuuzhan Vong invasion. So many great books out there that really, to me, it's a shame that when Disney came along, they made them fodder because those stories were just absolutely phenomenally written. But again, if you are new here, please feel free to subscribe to That's Fair Podcasting and Gaming Geeks Live. Maybe like the video to help us in that algorithm. And if you don't do those and you just sit here and watch the video, perfect, man. I sincerely appreciate it. It means the world. Thanks for joining. But I'm going to start off with my top 10, my favorite Jedi / Sith of all time. And at number 10, who, unpopular, most people are going to put this on their number 1, I'm going to go Anakin Skywalker / Darth Vader. Didn't really care for, I think, what was his name, Andrew Lloyd or something? Or I don't remember his name exactly. I didn't like his portrayal of a young Anakin in A Phantom Menace. I thought that it kind of helped ruin The Phantom Menace. Not that that was a bad movie, it just wasn't a great movie. But I did like Hayden Christensen's portrayal of Anakin Skywalker, especially in Revenge of the Sith. In Attack of the Clones, he was that spoiled kid. He was almost too entitled, too bratty. I think they could have cleaned it up a little bit. And I think that his transformation to Darth Vader should have taken a little bit longer. It felt rushed, but hey, what are you going to do? You know Lucas, how he worked. He worked in segments of 3, and he made it work. And ultimately, I grew to really like what Hayden Christensen brought to the character of Anakin Skywalker. He was tortured. He was tormented. He did everything for Padme to save her. And let's be honest, I mean, a lot of us would have done the same thing, I guess. Even, I mean, as far as killing younglings, maybe. But I don't know. But anyway, Darth Vader / Anakin Skywalker is my number 10. Now, in a video game for number 9, from Knights of the Old Republic is Master Vandar. Believe it or not, the only Yoda species on this list. If I had an honorable mention, Yoda would be that. But I loved Vandar better. He was a little bit more, less direct, I guess, and sworn protectors, you know, in the way he talked. I mean, obviously, he didn't mince his words in a kind of a backwards way so much that Yoda did, you know, but I really liked the character of Master Vandar. It was nice to have another Yoda species in there, even though they're still considered unknown. Master Vandar was like the perfect Jedi Master in the Jedi Enclave on Dantooine in Knights of the Old Republic. It was great. I didn't really care for the other ones as much, but I did like Master Vandar, and I loved his little intro and the way he's like, "Of course, Bastila will accompany you," you know, and it goes on and on. Just, it was a great character, and so Master Vandar, for some weird reason, is number 9. It was just partial to him, man. Couldn't help it. At number 8. My first true, I guess he's not my first Sith, because Vader technically is too, but Darth Maul. Probably the biggest badass of all the Sith in a way. Like, maybe not necessarily with the power of the Force, but my God, you know, with Ray Park playing Darth Maul, just, you know, and when you first saw that double-bladed lightsaber, tell me you didn't just leak a little DNA of some sort. You're like, oh my, you know, when you see the double-bladed, you're just like blown away. Darth Maul, I think it was called The Shadowhunter. It was a great book. The very ending, all the way to the very end when he finally finds his prey. No spoiler alerts, but it's a death scene. It was a really good story, Darth Maul Shadowhunter. And that was one of the better novels that independently that I read. And so Darth Maul is my number 8. But at number 7, fodder. But in books, also, especially in the new Jedi Order that I remember, Jaina Solo, the twin to Jacen and Jaina Solo, and then the younger brother, I believe, was Anakin Solo. Anyway, Leia and Han have twins, Jason and Jaina. Jaina I was more partial to because she had her father Han Solo's panache at flying, at piloting, but she also had the Jedi side of her that just really stood out. And so I thought Jaina Solo was a more complete character amongst Han Solo and Princess Leia's children. Although Anakin Skywalker went out with a bang, he's not on the list. He's an honorable mention too, but if you read the Yuuzhan Vong Invasion books, you'll know how he went out. He went out like a boss. And Jaina Solo is my number 7. At number 6, come on, Samuel L. Jackson. If he's not on this list, I don't know what to tell you. Mace freaking Windu. I loved Mace Windu. I didn't like how in Revenge of the Sith they went in there to face Palpatine, and you had the likes of, I don't remember all the names, Kit Fisto, Plo Koon, and I don't remember the last one. But they got dropped way too easy. It was just like, come on, man, give them a little bit more screen time. Make that more of a fight. These are supposed to be Jedi Masters. But Mace Windu held his own against Palpatine. Ultimately, looks like he beat Palpatine, but again, do you have to question it? Did Palpatine let him, knowing Anakin was just around the corner? Hard to tell. But I think in a straight-up one-on-one, I'd give Mace Windu the edge. As crazy as that sounds, he's the second biggest badass in the galaxy at the time, behind Yoda, with the purple lightsaber and everything. And Samuel L. Jackson captured Mace Windu perfectly, and I fell in love with that character. And in his book called Shatterpoint, that was such a good book. I mean, you have him, I forgot the planet he goes to, he's trying to help someone, and he almost goes literally mad. But if you've read Shatterpoint, Mace Windu's novel, man, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, check it out, called Shatterpoint. But Mace Windu is my number 6. At number 5, in a video game, I've got to go with Mitra Surik, the main protagonist in Knights of the Old Republic 2, The Sith Lords. Really went through a lot. Obviously in the canon version, even though it's fodder, in the canon version, Mitra Surik was a female Jedi following this, if I'm not mistaken, looking for Revan, hunting Revan, ultimately joined Revan. I forgot the name of the book, but there was a book about Revan where a friend of mine bought me, and Mitra Surik's mentioned in it a lot. But Mitra Surik obviously is going. I forgot the name of the planet at the end. But anyway, I'm drawing a blank. But if you play the game, Mitra Surik went through a hell of a lot. And if you read the book, you'll see just how much Mitra Surik went in. But that is my number 5, main protagonist from Knights of the Old Republic 2, The Sith Lords. At number 4, another video game protagonist you play in the first Knights of the Old Republic, Darth Revan. Obviously you make your own name up. You can choose from the Republic soldier to the scoundrel to the rogue or something. Maybe I got those right. But I just remember, you got to play as Darth Revan, and I remember being blown away that you find out you are indeed Revan. Even though the hints were there, throughout the story, BioWare really kind of knocked that one out of the park. I loved Darth Revan. I loved how he went through Mandalorian Wars, or I think that when they fought the Jedi, and he once a Sith and on the path of redemption, depending on what direction you go with it. But Darth Revan was a great story arc and just a badass character, possibly one of the most badass in the entire galaxy. That is my number 4. At number 3, Old Faithful, Obi-Wan Kenobi. I loved Obi-Wan Kenobi. I loved Sir Alec Guinness's portrayal in A New Hope through Return of the Jedi from 77 to 83. He did a just phenomenal job as far as the philosophical aspect of it. The fighting mechanics are hard to watch. They age backwards, obviously, with the fencing versus what, obviously Obi-Wan and Anakin have on Mustafar. But then Ewan McGregor comes along and just completely, when you first saw Ewan McGregor playing Obi-Wan Kenobi in A Phantom Menace in 1999, I remember going, holy shit, man, this guy captured Alec Guinness's Obi-Wan perfectly. And although, if you think about it, from Revenge of the Sith to New Hope, man, the aging process of 19 years or so, really hard on Obi-Wan. If that was like 19 years, that was terrible. He aged horribly in 19 years, but hey, it is what it is. Obi-Wan Kenobi had to, watch Qui-Gon Jinn die, single-handedly defeated Darth Maul, had to, go through the torture of, delimbing, I should say, cutting off the limbs of his what he considered his younger brother. You're my brother, Anakin. I loved you. And all that. But anyway, Obi-Wan Kenobi was an underrated yet one of the most powerful Jedi and one of the best story arcs. And one of the few things Disney, I didn't mind the season 1 of Obi-Wan, but it was nice to see Ewan McGregor back because it kind of gives you that feel, but it was still kind of hard to watch because Disney kind of has its hooks in Star Wars and it sucks ass. So anyway, that's just my opinion, but that's number 3. At number 2, one of the most powerful female Jedi of all time, and that's from Knights of the Old Republic, Bastila Shan. Now, Juhani, the Cathar, is on the honorable mention list as well. But Bastila Shan, to me, when she was doing battle meditation on the Starforge and turned the tide, that I think in itself told you where Bastila stood with the power of the Force. And she was an avid student of the Force, and she held on as long as she could, and she fought and fought until Malak eventually did turn her to the dark side. But I think the connection with her and your character, your protagonist in Knights of the Old Republic, was so strong, depending on what direction you went, of course, that he brought her out of the dark and back into the light. And it's just kind of a sad ending when you find out the way. If you're not going to ever read any of the books, it's a sad ending. But I'll just say that Bastila Shan, to me, will always hold as one of the most powerful Jedi of all time and top 3 most powerful female Jedis ever. My opinion, but Bastila Shan at number 2. And at number 1, my all-time favorite Star Wars character, Galen Merrick and or Starkiller from The Force Unleashed. The guy learned every lightsaber style possible by proxy, who had to teach him everyone's lightsaber. I mean, he fought Obi-Wan's. With Obi-Wan, he had to learn Obi-Wan's lightsaber. Then Darth Maul, Mace Windu. And if you read the books, you'll see how in-depth it is that he has to learn every single lightsaber style. And still, both his parents were Jedi. That obviously Vader hunts his father down and kills him on Kashyyyk. But both his parents were Jedi. He was born with an extreme affinity to the Force. And then learning, Vader, honing those skills, the secret apprentice, to teach him. He learned every lightsaber style, and he brought a Star Destroyer from space, or in the atmosphere, but still, he brought it down to the ground and crashed it with the Force. Galen Merrick and Sam Witwer nailed that role perfectly, just like he did in Days Gone with Corporal Deacon St. John. But anyway, Galen Merrick is my number 1. That is who they are. Again, Anakin, Master Vandar, Darth Maul, Jaina Solo, Mace Windu, Mitra Surik, Darth Revan, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Bastila Shan, and Galen Merrick are my favorites. Thank you for a pointless video. If you made it this far, I sincerely appreciate you War Z fans. Again, if you don't mind liking the video, get us into that algorithm. You're helping us out. I appreciate it. Subscribe to us. Either That's Fair Podcasting or Gaming Geeks Live, whichever one you watch us on. Seriously, it means the world to me. And thank you for the new subscribers that have jumped on lately in That's Fair Podcasting. I appreciate it. And, gamers, as I always got to say to you guys, thanks for listening, but all love to you, and I am outro.